We have a Ouija board sitting right in front of us.
You're welcome to take the cover off.
I wouldn't want to. This concept of it being a portal to the other world, as well as about it being dangerous.
Yeah, the world's most dangerous game, that's what it's called. Before you start using these things, I would advise if say your prayers. So we use talcum powder on our hands before we go on the board.
Why?
Well, because you secrete sebum, sort of came up with that concept and thought we'll put something in between a barrier, because a number of people have actually ended their lives because of what the boards told them.
Have you guys been in a situation where an entity has actually taken over?
There was one girl from 1976, I believe, she passed away, and she said,
"Paul, Mum, I'm okay."
Have you guys interacted with entities that you guys felt were evil?
One experience which I'll never forget, the Tate Gallery was originally Millbank Penitentiary, and we were sitting there, all of a sudden the planchette was moving around and it just went S-A-T-A-N, S-A-T-A-N, S-A-T-A-N.
Do you want to give a step-by-step procedure on the right way to use a Ouija board?
Stay away, don't get involved in it. If you're looking for it, it will come and haunt you, and it can manifest into something greater than what it is if you allow it to take control of your psyche. So always remain grounded, keep your feet on the floor, because that's why the earth's here. So
If you end up on the ceiling, then you've got a
then
problem.
you call us.
Hazel, such an honor having you on the show.
Namaste.
Namaste. Welcome.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you, Ranveer. Thank you.
No, thank you for coming in here. We have a Ouija board sitting right in front of us. All your equipment from your paranormal investigations.
Yes.
So interested. Dean is about to join us. Dean, we're already rolling. And you can walk in. Welcome to the Ranveer Show. Good to be with you. You guys are the oldest paranormal investigation agency in the UK.
Well, I mean...
One of it.
One of them, yeah. I mean,
Can't put a date on it, but maybe in London. But in the UK, there wasn't too many around.
I can't wait to deep dive into all the stories and experiences you guys have had. We've spoken so much about Ouija boards on the show. This is an actual Ouija board sitting right in front of us.
yes, it is. You're welcome to take the cover off.
I wouldn't want to.
Oh, don't worry.
Do you want me to do
it's
that
safe.
for you, or are you just happy to leave as is?
Are you comfortable
Yeah,
doing it?
of
Okay,
course.
sorry to make you do this, Dean. Oh my God. We're going to deep dive into the equipment at this point. Wow. Okay, you got to explain how this works in the first place.
When we operate with this divination tool, I know it's widely accepted as a way of contacting spirit and so on and so forth. But we take a little bit more of a skeptical view on the Ouija board ourselves. We actually have our own methods to try and eliminate things like the ideomotor effect. Now, what that is when the brain tells the muscles to effectively move the planchette. Do you want to show the planchette,
Yeah.
Dean?
I'll show you what you have to put on the board.
Yeah. So the planchette itself, which is where the participant would actually place their fingers on the planchette. Normally 4 or 5 of you. I'd say 4 is a good number for the board. Before you start using these things, I would advise, if you have your own spiritual beliefs and so on and so forth, say your prayers. Just in case, it makes you feel more comfortable.
The main concept is obviously that the participants would have to put their fingers, one finger on the planchette. Where H talks about the ideomotor effect is that you have to physically be touching the planchette. So you could physically, because you have to physically touch it, people could influence the board. Gotcha. This is why skeptics like myself on the skeptical side think, because they're touching it, they could be moving it. But there is also the side of it where if it is a spirit coming through, you just have to listen to what's coming through. And as long as it makes sense, you're looking for tangible responses to the questions you're asking, not just random talk.
But we do use the word alleged spirit.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Have you guys been in a situation where you've been using the Ouija board and something has actually taken over, which you guys believe to be an actual entity?
Multiple.
did.
There's been multiple times, yeah.
Yeah, we've had phone numbers come through that have checked out. We rang them up, and the people that have come through on the board, there was one girl from 1976, I believe. She passed away, and we got the phone number, and she said, "Tell my mum I'm okay." And did you rang, didn't you?
Yeah,
Dean rang, and
that was quite an interesting phone call.
So the ghost of that little girl gave you the mum's number
mobile number
from now.
Yes. Wow. And we're thinking to ourselves, it just started, and rather than going to letters, it started going to numbers. And it wasn't making too much sense. Until it started with the UK digits 079 something.
Yeah.
And we're like, this is actually spelling a number, not an age, it's specific. It's actually spelling a mobile number.
After giving you guys the number, how did it say that tell my mother?
It said, call mum.
Call mum.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
And then I had to basically...
You did that?
Yeah.
How did the mother react?
Well, first of all, I had to ask if,
Did she have
a daughter that passed over? And this is the message we've been told to give you. Sorry to bring this to you, but also I think it might be something you might want to hear is that we were doing a seance last night in a particular location, a Ouija board, and this is what's come through, and we're only following up what we were told to do. We didn't know where the number
Twice that happened, didn't it?
Yeah, we didn't know where the number was going to go.
Twice.
But on 2 occasions, mobile numbers have come through on the board, and we rung the mobile number. They've led directly to someone.
Yeah.
But with this particular case where that little girl's spirit came and said that call mum.
Yeah.
What was the location that you guys were doing it in?
So it was in a house. It was a home investigation.
But was it her house? Was it the house that she had
It was the
passed in?
house of...
No.
It wasn't. But it was the house of a relative.
Okay.
Yeah, the relative lived there beforehand, but we had no knowledge of this when we went in. So
Why do you think the girl's spirit chose that house?
Because it must have been the person who we were dealing with. She was quite a nice, welcoming, kindred spirit. So I think that they may have just chosen that opportunity to come through because of the good nature of the people that were in the room.
The relative was
Yes.
a good human being.
Yes, good human being.
absolutely, yeah.
And I think as well for us, it's also important to say that we don't allow people on the board. If we go to a location, such as historians, people have got public knowledge of the location we're going into, we don't allow them to go onto the board because they could taint the board.
Or anyone under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, we won't allow that because...
So you have to be sound of mind and sober.
Yeah, and they say you need to be sort of very well within yourself because if anything does come through, you could potentially attach that to yourself and start thinking, spirits after me. I was on the board last night. It's known as the world's most dangerous game. That's what they call it.
We've had some very astounding results.
Yeah, we have.
Can we speak about this dangerous game situation? Because this is what we hear back in India. And I've spoken to some people who are into Western occult or, English magic, as they call it.
Yeah.
They consider a Ouija board a bit of a portal.
Yeah.
Okay, so a number of people have actually, ended their lives because of what the board's told them, or people have used the board for, various means, to try and, I suppose, for dark reasons,
Try and contact the devil.
Well, yeah,
Stuff like this.
And they've put things that they've done to other people down to the board,
And they're also
believing
asking
that-
personal questions as well, aren't they? About
Yeah.
certain things that's happening in their life. They're sort of willing the board to tell them the answers.
give them the answers.
So the board's got the control rather than the person.
Why do you think this device has this kind of ability in the first place?
Well, I mean, it's a divination tool, and like all divination tools, in fact, going back to ancient Greece, when someone would get some bones and blood and throw them in a bowl and rely on the results of the way that the bones landed, that they would use that as a way of
a sign.
from the gods or whatever, telling them that this is what they must do. They must go into battle. They have to. Don't go into battle and so on and so forth. It's the same thing with that. We're like, I think humans need answers to many things. And
I think because it's a very visual thing, it's very tangible. So if you've got an A to Z, something you recognize, it's very easy to read rather than just answering out in the atmosphere and not getting any responses. If you've got a board with numbers on it and things you recognize, it's very easy to then make that more real.
Yeah.
And I think where the horror side comes to it is where people have used the board, then subsequently after that, things have happened, like people have passed away or people have been in car crashes and stuff like this. And this is where I think a lot of it built up, a lot of its tension, but also what Hollywood did to it during the 70s with all the horror films that were around in that period also gave it a stigmatism for more Western culture.
Yeah, and also, I mean, when you go back to like World War One, when the spiritualistic movement really sort of took off because of people wanting to contact their loved ones, you know, so this obviously skyrocketed in terms of its popularity in Western culture.
After the First World War.
After the First World War and through that time. So, you know, I mean, like you, when you see the Ouija board, you were like, oh, the Ouija board. You know, it's how you take it, if you take a light-hearted approach to it, use it as sensibly. Don't ever go on this under the influence because you're not in your right mind. So if anyone invites you into a party and there's drink and drugs and stuff and they're saying, let's go on the boards, stay away, don't get involved in it, and make sure that the people on the board are very trustworthy. And, you know, they can always use my technique of powder in between, you know, because apparently we never actually physically touch anything, because between us and atoms, there's always atoms between something. Right. So you never actually physically touch anything, I believe.
Understood. Okay. But why are you guys summoned in the first place? Is it to prove that an entity is there with the evidence? Or do you all also cleanse places?
No, we're not cleaners.
We're not. We don't profess to be able to. Not exorcists. We can't clear environments.
But I would add just one thing to that, because that is an interesting thing. We don't cleanse the spirit. What we do is we try to help the person who's experiencing this, and we sort of say to them, you know, it's more about them, more about their state of mind, more about, you know,
surroundings
like
setting up a structure
for their life to sort of battle it themselves and get through the emotional trauma that they're experiencing as well. So yeah, we cleanse, I'd say, more the person's soul than the actual soul that's haunting the person, if that makes sense. I would spend hours talking to them to try and get through to them and sort of, you know, understand them as a person and see what's troubling them, because that to me is more rewarding than, there is no device or no sort of, I know people can profess to clear buildings and walk around and, you know, obviously they have that ability. I don't have that ability, so I'm not going to actually, fool anyone with mumbo jumbo that I don't know nothing about. So, and
you know, if they think they've got a ghost, they would be looking for a ghost hunter or paranormal investigator. But I guess we go there not trying to ramp it up. We try to get an understanding of the environment we're working with the person, to try to establish what exactly is going on. Is it environmental? Is it psychological? Or is it essentially paranormal?
Before we move on with more stories, do you want to give a step-by-step procedure on the right way to use a Ouija board?
Yeah, I mean, basically, the right way to use a Ouija board is, okay, first of all, you have to be sound of mind. There's no other way about it. That means, you know, obviously under no influence whatsoever. Choose, if you do go on a board, choose your participants carefully. Make sure that they are sound of mind as well, and people you can trust, who you know are not going to interact with the board and sort of start pushing it around, because otherwise it's a waste of time from the beginning. You need to...
everyone has to have the same agenda.
Yeah.
So if you've got 3 positive people on the board who want to make just contact, then you've got one person who wants to maybe contact more darker spirits. Don't do it with them.
Yeah,
avoid people that have dark
thoughts,
agenda, you know.
So maybe they won't voice it out, but if they're internally wishing for that, it'll happen.
Yes, there's nothing you can do to prevent that, but you always ask the question, are we all here for the same reason?
Okay.
Also, it's not a way of contacting spirit. It is a divination tool, and it's used as a divination tool, but it's also a parlor game. Okay, so they have to be very mindful that it's a parlor game. So if something does come onto the board, they're going to need to have someone who can obviously document all the letters and so on. And be very mindful as well that, like we talk today in text messages, like lol and things like that. Sometimes some of the messages that come through in code as well, and it's not until you've actually read what you've called out back to yourself, you realise, and you go, hold on, that's really strange. It spells so on and so forth. And
and then obviously I think is you say a prayer before opening the board.
Prayer.
An opening prayer. Use the board wisely. Have a note taker. It may be gibberish at the time, but it may be using tongue that we don't recognise. If we went to India and we started using the board and it was coming through in Hindi, we wouldn't have a clue what we were talking about until we got home and translated it.
Or you translated it for us.
Yes, but I think obviously, Old English and being able to, if you're speaking to people from 1600s, they would have a completely different dialect to us.
To what we have.
So that's also important. Old tongue may not be what we talk now. And then obviously closing the board properly with a closing prayer. Doesn't matter what it is, just anything that makes you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
In your eyes, what's the oldest spirit that you guys have come into touch with?
The oldest?
Throughout the course of your work, with or without the Ouija board?
With or without the Ouija board, I would have to say Dick Turpin.
Yeah, I mean, as a famous highwayman, we used to investigate a pub that dated back to the 1500s.
Spaniards in.
And yes, a very reputedly haunted location. But we were dealing with spirits dating back to like the 1500s.
It was the first contact I ever had that we ever caught on film. And it wasn't an apparition. It was what actually physically happened at the time. And I'll explain that if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Basically, so we'd gone to the pub. I had 2 walkie-talkies, put one on the bar and one on my hip. I was calling out a list of spirits, a list of names that are associated with the pub. And I got to this one particular name, Francesco Pereiro. And as I said, Francesco Pereiro, if you can hear my voice, can you please come through? And at that point, the walkie-talkie on the bar went, and I was like, everyone went, oh, that was like pretty close. And I went, so I challenged it. I went, okay. I said, if that was you, do it again. And then my walkie-talkie went like that.
So yeah, now, I mean, if you're in a dark, you'd be pretty scared.
That's not the end of the story. Almost a year to the day, we were back in the pub. We'd done loads of investigating throughout the pub, upstairs, downstairs, and I left one walkie-talkie on the bar. Hadn't gone off all night.
No.
So we're sitting there. It's about 3
in the morning.
And I said, okay. I said, if there are any spirits in this bar, make the walkie-talkie go off. And it went like that again.
So I think, we all just sort of looked at each other and went... But I think it's obviously correlation. We're looking for answers to the questions. If it just happened randomly, we might put it down to interference and stuff.
Yeah,
but
a minicab like being ordered.
Who knows?
And it's radio frequency, so But
we're looking for tangible responses to the questions you're asking.
You think it was Francesco Pereira?
Yeah,
potentially. Yeah.
I think when we come to that conclusion, we're like, we ran through loads of names, but 8 names, and we got to Francesco Pereira. Francesco Pereira and Jose Pereira were the 2 brothers that formed the Spaniards Inn.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. They had a duel over a woman, and one of them died.
Lady Fontaine.
So basically, it was an old story about how they passed over. One of them passed over, was shot, and they were both in love with the same women. Again, we were reverting to characters and calling out the characters associated with the inn. It landed on one of them, and then all of a sudden, a chain of events just started opening up and thereafter.
You think Francesco's spirit was stuck in that bar?
We had evidence to say potentially.
Yeah.
We can never say yes, but we would always say we got evidence to support that fact.
Was it bothering people?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, there were people being pushed in the back, like into
Tripped over
into ladies' toilets. Like there was a lot of women complained about being forcibly pushed in the back. One of those women was actually my mother. She had the same experience. She felt something push her in the back, and she was going into the toilet. So this was long before we even investigated the place. I always remember saying, it was really weird. I was going in the toilets and I felt something push me. So, yeah, I mean...
It's important to note as well that there's actually living quarters above the pub.
Yeah.
And that date back to the original Spaniards Inn, so the 1500s. So all staff members have a place to stay. And some of the staff were very heavily impacted by it. This supposed spirit.
There was one girl, literally her door was... It was like an entity had hold of her door handle and wouldn't let her out of the room. And she was screaming and forcibly trying to get out.
She couldn't open the door.
And she couldn't open the door. And then all of a sudden it let go and she went flying backwards into her bedroom. But we investigated that pub intensively for many years.
10-year period. We were there for a long time.
Like we went through that pub and we got so many pieces of evidence.
Yeah. We couldn't film everything back then because it was more difficult to film stuff back then, and obviously, but you can never have every angle covered.
What did Francesco want?
I think to scare us or to make it known that he was still there, still owned the pub. And I think as well, as you think about it as an active pub, it's a lot of people coming through the building. It would have been less busy back then. So it's a very well-known, very famous pub, a lot of traffic coming through there. So maybe it was just trying to give a sign that they were still there and they were the ones who made the pub what it was.
Have you ever dreamt of something related to a case where the entity in question tried contacting you through your dream?
I would say no to that. But in terms of having an entity interact with people that I've known who have rung me up and like at 2 a.m. to tell me that there's a figure walking down the stairs wearing a black cape and a tricorn hat. And I know, like, obviously the person would have no knowledge of what we've done, who we've been involved in. And that description is literally that of a highwayman. The tricorn hat was like the triangular hat.
When we were doing investigations of the Spaniards Inn, for a period of like 2-3 years, it seemed like this entity was following us around.
Yeah.
People dreaming about seeing this vision, but would have no knowledge of what we were doing.
Yeah,
so a lot of it was correlated.
And what was really weird was there was this one particular time.
It wasn't evil.
When we was in the Spaniards filming and I was poked in the eyeball, physically poked in the eyeball. And then a couple of weeks later, I was sitting down with my friend and I said, like, have a look at what we're doing, showing her the video, and all of a sudden, from nowhere, she just let out this almighty scream and she went, my eye, something just poked me in my eye. And I was like, oh my God, no. I said, just keep watching. And then literally, half hour into the video, she sees me getting poked in the eye. So it's things like that. I mean, it's very strange, Ranveer, really strange. Yeah.
Have you guys interacted with entities that you guys felt were evil out and out?
I mean, there was one which I won't forget, and that was Bodmin Jail in Cornwall, Bodmin Jail, which is, reputedly haunted. And I had the team down one end of the prison cell down one end, and I stayed at the other end on my own. And I said, if you want us to go, give us a sign. And this stone, like a rock, a cobblestone, just went bang and was thrown like behind me against the wall, really loud. We've got that on video as well. But yeah, like this cobblestone from nowhere was launched at the wall.
So that would be called poltergeist activity.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a sign as if to say they want us out, but it won't get me out.
I mean, we respect the boundaries, of course, but we've travelled all the way to Cornwall. We're not just going to be running out of the building, basically.
I'm not run out there. No.
What is a poltergeist?
A poltergeist is essentially it's a German for noisy ghost or noisy spirit, right?
Yeah.
It basically is an entity that is able to interact with objects surrounding the area and can use it to make noises, bangs, throw things. And we've had people ring us up saying we've had things thrown across the room, doors closing, slamming, knocking, opening up doors. That's typical poltergeist activity.
Yeah, there are many documented cases globally of poltergeist activity, all over the world. One famous case is the Enfield poltergeist.
That's the most famous.
Yeah, that's probably
case
one
in
of the
the
most
UK.
famous cases in the UK is the Enfield poltergeist. There are others, of course, that have been very well documented.
Why is this case famous?
Because basically the witnesses involved included, obviously there were credible witnesses, police officers, there was a lollipop lady, reporters, members of the Society for Psychical Research, Maurice Gross, who I had the great pleasure of meeting and working with. He documented, that case for a couple of years, and he was able to ascertain that there was definitely something going on. There was a young girl involved in that who was the entity was talking through her larynx.
We'll see if he'll speak to us.
Yeah.
Is anybody there?
No.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor who?
And so she wasn't actually physically talking, but the spirit was talking, using her as a portal, and it was like coming from the back of her neck, but using
using parts of voice box that
voice box.
supposedly a girl's voice could never reach.
No, she would have to literally be the greatest ventriloquist in the world, and when they they've actually found out at the end of the case study, it was like a 2-year case study, that the entity revealed himself as Bill Wilkins, and basically when the evidence was played and aired, I believe his son heard this voice, and he came forward and recognised it as his father's voice, and he approached Maurice and said, "That's my dad,"
Sounds like that.
And he did. He died in that house in a chair in the corner. And obviously they went to the graveyard, and there it was, his grave. And when they got the death certificate was exactly how, the young 10-year-old girl, 11-year-old at the time, whatever, she was able to say, her name's Bill, and the entity's name was Bill, and died of a brain hemorrhage and went blind before he died. And
this is before the days of internet, so you couldn't research
there was
stuff like that. So
no-
this girl couldn't really have any much knowledge about what happened before they came and moved into the house.
So obviously there are a lot of people that debunk it and try to sort of, but I spoke to Maurice, and he was such a lovely, genuine man.
What was the father trying to tell the son?
No, he wasn't trying to tell the son. It was the fact that he came through just to say, "This is my house."
And it was quite an aggressive
Very
form
aggressive
of poltergeist.
form,
Like a girl was being lifted up out of the bed, thrown in the air,
across
the room. And they invited the newspapers to come and document the case, and they managed to capture the moment
She was thrown
out of the bed. So the thing is that in our field, we try to document the evidence by camera, by audio, however means, to try and get something on camera. This case was obviously back in the 70s. Technology wasn't that great, but they were able to document things happening through voice recordings, video recording, photography, and using credible witnesses such as the police, who would come in the house. They would be hearing thumping in the walls,
Lego bricks
being thrown at them. So this is why we say the foundations of any case is the witness, is the participants, and then I guess the structure of the investigation. And the fact that Maurice Gross was such a credible investigator.
How did this particular case wind down then?
I think the media interest fizzled out, and I believe that the actual, once they established who it was, the family started to realise that, you know, I mean, the entity presented itself less and less and less and less,
And they moved away as
like
well.
yeah, just like what we say with the Ouija. Once they're established, they've had their little hissy fit. They come out and they're like, you know, this is me.
I'm here. This is my space. Get
I'm
out.
here, my space. Get out. And then once you, like you say, like Dean said earlier, if you just show them that you're not a threat, you're not there for any sort of other reason than to either interact with them, or it's your home or whatever, then, you know.
I think the family gained more control, and it was more about the fact of it done its worst. It couldn't do much worse. And the more they established that, you know, it was drawing their energy, drawing down.
It lived on their fear.
Yeah. So when they took a break,
So when the fear-
they moved out of the house, they took a break,
Yeah,
came back,
And it died down.
it died down. Because I think they took her away on a holiday for a long time. She went into a hospital for a bit, came out, and she was more solid as a person.
And now the house, there's nothing there.
No.
It lived in the fear.
Yeah, I mean, once it was established, told its story, and that was it, I'm sure the people that live there now, they know there's nothing there now. So it's just an ordinary house now.
Yeah.
But obviously at that moment, there was a troubled family. The energy it was picking up from what was going on with the family, you know, with the mum breaking up with the dad, and you know, and the children suffering. And
What the belief system is in regards to poltergeist is that they prey on people that are
vulnerable.
And
Yeah.
that's what most cases seem to.
And vulnerability is defined by emotional trauma.
It
Yeah.
could be emotional trauma, or
Just a bad atmosphere, you know, events happening that's, you know, if there's a divorce or separation, or there's things going on in your personal life.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
anything that has a negative impact on someone, it can impact their negative mindset.
Yeah,
Alcohol abuse and drug abuse.
Yes.
yeah, alcohol, drugs, all that can feed the belief that something's going on. You know, so yeah, you're best to always remain grounded. Keep your feet on the floor, because that's why the earth's here. So you can, you know where you stand.
If you end up on the ceiling, then you've got a problem.
Then you call us. Some people don't realise, like, if they got like a sort of, you know,
An old house.
the
old wooden
buildings
floors.
expand and contract, and there's movement underground, and you've got like
Floorboards.
infrasounds from all kinds of things that could be happening miles away. You know, there could be infrasounds coming from traffic, you know, about, you know, half a mile down the road, and it's travelling through the ground into their environment.
A very
you know,
interesting one
there's
is where we've gone into pubs and they've had reported of glasses being thrown or
Yeah.
being tipped over. But we've been investigating, and lorries have gone past, or big vehicles, but they cause a vibration in the floor.
and move the glasses
And
slowly,
the glasses
towards the edge.
gradually.
And then off they go, you know. So when they're there at that moment, it's because obviously the lorries or the buses or that have gone past throughout the day have been slowly moving that bottle towards the edge,
Yeah.
ready for it to go. So when they capture it on CCTV or whatever, they're like, oh, it's a ghost. No, that's a natural thing. Everyone
Yeah.
does that. We
Yeah.
know that. But not everything is a ghost.
Yeah.
You know, there's
explanations, rational explanations for a lot of things.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm sure you guys have a memory of all the ghosts or entities that you guys met over the course of the last 28 years?
so
It's around that. It's come up to
something
30
like that.
years, yeah.
It's 28 years that you guys have been
Yeah.
ghost hunters. Sorry to use that.
I like that term though. That's what I prefer. Ghost hunters, not ghost busters. We don't bust ghosts. We don't go around busting them. We don't go around with a pin and go. We are ghost hunters, respectively. You know, that's what we're doing. We're hunting ghosts. Or looking for evidence of the afterlife. That's what I really. That is my goal, and I'm pretty sure, like for Dean, who's very skeptical, wants the same thing. You know, even though we have different belief systems, ultimately we still have the same goal in
And we
purpose.
respect each other's view. And that's
Yeah.
it.
In your entire library of memories, do you all do you guys have ghosts that you classify as male spirits and female spirits?
That's a good question.
Well, I mean, I think obviously it depends on the location, if it's deemed to be haunted by a particular subject. So a lot of castles have white ladies and blue ladies
and
et
red
cetera.
ladies. And,
so they have colour codes for their ladies.
Why?
I don't know. It's just something that's very synonymous with castles being like maidens and historical figures in that time frame. They are deemed to be.
Yeah, I do have sort of my own sort of idea why they have different sort of color perspectives. It's because of the spectrum of light that they actually travel in.
Wow.
So when they manifest in a particular spectrum of light.
Sure.
So hence why you get the white lady, the blue lady, the red lady. Just like, I suppose, like ultraviolet light, we can't see without UV lights. And then sorry.
I mean, effectively, this is physics of color. Where
Physics of color.
we're able to see 7 colors.
Yeah.
But beyond the
that,
color red is the infrared range.
Yeah, infrared. Yeah.
And the human
Which is
eye is
out
not,
of our- yeah.
not able to see infrared.
No.
And beyond the blue side is the ultraviolet range.
Yes, hence where we use a forward-looking infrared cameras. I unfortunately didn't bring one with me today, but we do use forward-looking infrared FLIR to go and look into that spectrum of light. So, and obviously we use ultraviolet light as well to detect what's in that ultraviolet range.
It helps you in ghost hunting.
Yes.
Yeah, we had one particular case at the Spaniards Inn, didn't we, Dean? And
It's a very interesting
Dean will
case.
tell you what happened there.
So obviously, we H just got this device. It attaches to your phone. It's a thermal imaging camera. It enables you to be able to show if something's touched and it's cold, it's blue, and if it's touched and it's white, it's either yellow or white. In heat signals.
If it's cold and it's touched,
blue.
it's blue.
If it's hot and it's touched, it's normally white or yellow. That shows heat.
Understand.
We were in the middle of a Ouija board session in a room, and all of a sudden we heard the door unlatch and it just opened, just like that. But then H was like, "Okay, let me get my thermal imaging camera." We actually filmed the handle, and the handle was white hot.
White hot.
Wow.
To show that
90
a hand
degrees.
had physically touched that object, turned the knob.
Cold brass. Oh, it's a brass
it's
knob.
and obviously brass is a good heat conductor, so it enabled to hold on to the heat.
And this was witnessed by a news crew.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If any of the three of us touch the handle, it'll be white
Yeah.
as well.
What I find interesting is that it wasn't actually, it was hot and wasn't cold. I would have expected it to be really cold. If it's a spirit, I wouldn't have thought they would be able to generate heat. But this is beyond our comprehension. We don't really know. We can't really explain. And I think as well, people attribute dark spirits to black in colour and good spirits in white in colour. For some reason, that's also what is deviated to be the norm in paranormal research. So if you see a dark shadow, dark figure, you instantly think it's a dark of nature.
Yeah,
it's
dark
a colour
entity,
code. Yeah.
and it's like,
Yeah.
But that could be subculturally coming from your childhood when your parents say, "Oh, be
Get to
aware of
bed
this,
now, or
get
the
to
dark.
bed." Yeah,
Like Harry Potter's Dementors.
Something like that.
exactly.
It's a very physical representation.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Have you guys used the camera and seen something that was blue in color? Like colder?
yeah. I've seen cold spots. I'm more interested in hot spots, but yeah, I've seen cold spots. On camera.
So what do you think classifies the spirits according to temperature? Like we spoke about the blue, red and white ladies in castles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's the classification?
If you're filming with this camera, if we're human beings, you'd all be generating heat. Where we use it also as well to, I guess, if we know 1, 2, 3 are picked up on camera, if there was something other worldly or something we don't understand or comprehend was shown in blue or had a life source to it and was shown in whatever colour it would show up on the camera and we'd be able to physically
But
see that.
are you able to see a silhouette of
Yeah.
human beings?
Yeah. On
Really?
the camera, yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
So it just shows you your outline and your heat source. So this is why we use it in paranormal research, because if we can't, we might use night vision cameras, but use infrared. But this is obviously uses thermal imaging. So it gives another dimension to that.
Because I would assume that it's simply the place where the feet land or whatever the hands touch. But you're saying that you're able to see a bit of a silhouette.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, you would
there
be
was,
able to if you...
I reviewed some evidence once for a TV show, and they had this face. Someone had caught a face on the thermal imaging camera, and wherever they moved the camera, the face was still there on the camera, and they was like looking around the room, but you could still see this physical face of a man looking into the camera. Now, okay, so I'm not saying that was a ghost per se, but it could be that, yeah, it could be lens scarring through light, you know. As you know, you can get scarring onto a lens, and it may have just stayed there. They might have just filmed one of their colleagues quickly, and his face is stuck there. So every time they're looking around, it does look like a spirit. It does look like an entity. I mean, yeah, but you can, or I say you can detect heat sources changing in the environment with a FLIR camera. And I'll say this, we've never actually captured a form.
No.
We've never captured a form.
But that's what we use it for.
But that's
in
what we use
the
it
event
for.
of. But we also, obviously, cold spots and temperature fluctuations go hand in hand with paranormal research. That's also a good way of being able to, if anyone feels a temperature drop around their hands, or some people will say, "Oh, I've got a cold.
My hands are freezing cold." You can instantly check and see whether or not really there is like a cold hand on there.
Yeah, because it would show if someone
it'll
held
show.
if something cold. If you
As
held,
you just said.
yeah,
Like
if you held an
touching the
ice
bed
pack over
or-
your hand, you would take that off. Your hand would be blue.
But you're able to at least you've got handprints
Yeah.
on people's hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we haven't caught that, but I'm saying that if you did,
That's what you're looking for.
yeah,
There are paranormal investigators all over the world who've been able to catch figures.
there has been. We're not, because we didn't film it, we can't say whether it was genuine or not.
Yeah.
But yes, they have caught things on film.
I mean, there are
Yeah.
people that have used FLIR cameras that have seen entities walking across corridors from door to door and manifesting in courtyards and things like that. Yes.
Can we talk about this male spirit, female spirit thing again?
Yeah, go.
I don't know why this is, okay? But
Okay.
and I don't know if Dean agrees with me. I mean, if you ask men if they're afraid of male spirits or female spirits, they'll usually say female spirits.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I see the opposite for women.
Yeah.
Like
I
girls
mean,
get scared of male spirits.
Me, I'm not scared of anything. Anything that comes my way. I used to be, don't get me wrong, I used to be scared of, like, when I very first started out, because it was like a whole new adventure. But now I'm hardened to it now. So male, female, dog, cats, which I've seen, really weird.
Why
Animals,
weird?
because that was something that really blew my mind. Because when I see the cat, I was staying at my friend's house, and she was asleep, and I had to rush back to London, and I woke her up and I said, "I'm so sorry, I've got to go. I said, and then she just turned around and she went, "Did you see my cat?" And I was like, "Oh my God." I was like, "No way." I said, "Oh my God, Laurie, I see the cat." She said, "In the bedroom?" I went, "Yes." She goes, "Yeah." She goes, "Everyone sees the cat." And I see the cat. A manifestation of a cat with a tail, head, legs, the lot.
But what color was it?
It was just the outline. It was like it was weird. I can't even explain what I was looking at. It was there. It was a physical form of a cat. There was no color. It just interact. Like the film Predator.
Yeah.
When Predator's in the trees. That's the only way to describe what I see, was like that. When Predator goes invisible, and it was almost like that. It's like the room had been disturbed by the shape of a cat. And it was like for 4 seconds, if that.
You could see through it.
I could see through the cat, yeah. See through the cat, but the outline of a cat.
Has a similar thing happened with the outline of a human?
Yes.
that you've seen.
Yeah, with that was in the Spaniards in me and James.
I mean, for me, I mean, this is, I suppose, how most of people would attribute seeing a spirit or ghost. They would say they've seen an outline or they've seen a figure of some sort. They can't exactly describe too much detail, but it's more of a transparent in nature. But I've never seen a physical form. I've never seen a ghost. That's why I'm still on the fence. But with Hazel, she's actually seen an outline
I had an
of a being.
experience with Dean's brother James, and we were just having a conversation over a table, talking, and precisely at the same moment, me and James went like that, and this form, just the torso, flashed between us, and we both see the same thing. And I said, "Don't say nothing. I mean, just write down what you see." So he wrote down Dick Turpin, and I wrote down Dick Turpin. It wasn't because of where we were, it's actually what we see. Half a torso with a figure with a tricorn hat. And it was like grey in form, but it manifested within an instant. It was like not even 2 seconds, it was like, boom, gone.
I was in the same room and didn't see nothing.
Yeah.
So is that because I'm more of a closed book, or is because H and my brother are more on the believing side of it? So I think, is this a form where if you've got more skeptical views, you may not be able to see, or spirits might not want to show themselves to you. But if you're more of a believer, maybe they may have a more of a nature.
I agree with this. I think that, and this is something that's been reaffirmed over the course of doing this show as well, as in not just this episode, but all the paranormal episodes.
Yeah.
Magic reveals itself to those who truly believe it exists.
I agree.
It's the same.
I think so. 85% of men in this country will probably be like, it's a load of crap, I don't care. They'll probably brush it off. But I think is that also, unless you actually have a real experience, I think most men are frightened by the subject. I think, because then I think that if anything does happen, it would probably show a more vulnerable side to them. Like, even for us, if we actually did see a genuine manifestation of a ghost on camera or in front of me, how would I react?
I think my
don't know.
hippocampus is open.
I mean, I'll definitely say that you have some psychic abilities.
I mean, your brain has waves. So these brain wave patterns are received by people like myself who are able to, what is around you, because it's all fabricated. The only real thing around you is the heavens above. That's real.
Space.
Everything else around you is fabricated. Yeah. That's your, except unless you're in a field.
You guys would enjoy India a lot.
Oh, I
Ranveer,
know.
get us over to India. Show us all the sites.
Don't worry.
There's so much paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what as well, Ranveer, is I think that's important to discuss is, sort of residual energy. I think that when people talk about, what makes a location haunted, is it actual, the deceased still being there, like in some kind of form, or is it that because they lived in this, because cultures have lived in a particular location or have been through a location for 200, 300, 400 years, is that energy still felt within the foundations of that building? So you may not actually be picking up on, let's say, spirits walking around on the earth plane, but you may be picking up on just an energy field.
A recording
or something that's been obtained by the actual fabric that you're actually in, and that's being able to be felt by groups of people. And I think that's what you'd call a residual haunting, is that it's something that's just basically grounded to that location. It's something that's always there, will never move on.
Like the sweat of a ghost?
It's more about, how they died, how they passed away. If you have a place where it was a very quick and sudden end, supposedly that's attributed to, like, if you had hangings and people met their death very quickly, they didn't have time to process the death itself. So if you had places like hospitals where it was quite a long way to pass over, you may not get so much residual energy. But those who have passed away very suddenly, it may be heavier, because I think that the way, this is all interpretation, but I think this is what residual energy sort of pointed at, is that it's the way people die, the foundations of the building.
Is it really actually a ghost? Is it haunting, or is it just something that is an environmental factor that happens to be,
How do you measure residual energy?
I guess it's basically a form of. This is where I suppose meters would come into it, because I guess you'd have a form of because the EMF field the electromagnetic field is something that is believed that spirits use to be able to manifest itself.
Let's talk about the EMF field. We've spoken about this in the past on
Yeah.
this show, but I would love for you guys to pick up a piece of equipment and then begin an explanation on the EMF field.
Okay, so this EMF meter, this is an antiquated, which means antique piece of analog EMF readings. So these really were used in the field in the early days of ghost hunting. I believe you can't get them now. But yeah, anyway, I mean, so basically this would have given you, and it's believed that between the ranges of 0 and 3, which is what we use in the magnetic field reading. So the Earth has a natural reading between 0 and 1. So anything above the 1 starts to point to a change in the electromagnetic field. So if there's spirit here, a spirit energy or an entity, can you please make the needle rise to 3, which is just here, and just to show us, can you do it now? Can you spike the needle? Can you spike the needle? Is there any energies here? Because I believe...
If there's an energy here, then spike the needle to 3.
Yeah, spike the needle to 3. Can you please do that now? On the count of 3, 2, 1, now.
So there's nothing here.
There's nothing. But I'm not saying, see, this is the weird thing with hauntings. Oh, here we go. So this is the weird thing. Obviously, with electrical pieces of equipment, they can interact. As you can see, I'm getting a spike now. But see, if I take that away from, I mean, obviously we're surrounded by lights and so on and so forth. But I mean, yes, effectively that should not spike to 3. If it does, then we're in. If it's 3 milligauss and above, then you're in a place where you shouldn't be, because high levels of EMF, apparently is attributed to cancers and radiation poisoning and so on and so forth, especially with microwaves and so on and so forth. So if you use a microwave, stand well away until it's finished, give it 10 seconds, then go back. Obviously we would use this in the field to first go around. I would do an analog reading before Dean would go and do a digital reading of the
digital
EMF
would be
field.
a bit easier to. The electric field or magnetic? The magnetic field would be more.
Wow.
So as you get closer, you can hear it. But if you've done a sweep of the location and you've written down your measurements, if you go later into that room, you should have the same readings. The environment really that shouldn't change. But then if you've getting spikes, responses to your questions up to 4, 5, 6, then there's no real explanation for that. Especially if you've done a reading earlier in the day.
Got all your baseline
Yes.
readings.
So you're saying that you go into a room, ideally more than once?
Yeah.
Yeah. Take all your baseline readings, know where all your PowerPoints are.
Note it down.
Yeah,
That'd be the first thing we do
down.
before we get to a location.
So make like a little mini map drawing of, your red hotspots, what you call your hotspots. So you know where the EMF fields are high. Right. Stay away from those areas and try to conduct your investigation in an area where there are no electromagnetic fields, any fluctuations, and then conduct your research there. Then see whether or not you get the...
But also the human voice plays a role here, where you said that if there's any energy here, please make your presence felt.
Yes, of course. I mean, that's just, you're trying to evoke a spirit. I mean, it's just as I would treat you in life as I would treat you in death. So, I would talk to you exactly the same way I would talk to, a spirit.
Do they always respond?
No,
not always. I mean,
there shouldn't be really any fluctuations. I mean, we're happy with if we're content if it's just
nothing.
There you go, because we know what the Earth's field is. We know what we're dealing with. But then, if it does start kicking off or giving off readings, then we get excited. But we don't expect to see the reading.
Yeah.
We don't expect it.
Gotcha.
But when we do, then we start to ask intelligent questions.
Yeah.
We start to tune into saying...
We start a dialogue and to see if there's a correlation between our questioning and the response.
You ask yes and no questions? Or?
Yeah, it's a Q&A session.
Yeah,
so, it'd be like, are you male? Are you female? Did you die here?
If you're male, go to 3. If you're female, go to 4.
Or some EMF meters have just color codes. So it'd be like green would be nothing and red would be a high reading. So we'd say flash to red if you can hear my voice, and it will flash to red. Then we've got contact.
Then we'll say, are you male?
Flash red.
Or it'll stay green, and then we'll say female. Stay there. Are you a child? It'll go straight up, come down. We'll ask the question again. Are you a child? It will go up. Are you a male? Are you female? Are you a child? So it's that correlation.
That's that Q&A session. But we've got in regards to meters, it's very difficult. I mean, it's only happened on a handful of occasions, but to get actual intelligent communication. But we did manage to capture a 2 to 3 minute segment where we actually obtained genuine intelligent communication with a child entity on film. This can be seen on our evidence page on our website.
So are we going back to like the First World War? Anyway, you're 9 years old. You got that much? Huh?
It made a noise.
Where?
Heard a girl's voice.
Where was this?
This was down in the disused underground
station in
Kentish Town.
London?
Yes.
Yeah.
So what happened?
For people to find out what happened, they can go to the evidence page.
But to give it an overview,
Yes.
of course, it was staff had reported seeing an entity movement
of a young
girl. I've heard voices and shadows.
And I'll tell you something else, which that event, if you remember, at the end, we said, if you want us out of here, get us out of here. And the place flooded.
Flooded?
Flooded.
Yeah, we had to evacuate because it started raining very heavily. And
then all of a sudden, the drains came up and we were.
Within 10 minutes, all of us, we had to get 30 people out of this.
Whether that's coincidental, it could be, but we asked the question, get us out of here. If you want us out, you don't want us here. And then all of a sudden, the rain came down, the drains filled up in underground where we were, and all the water came up and flooded the location. So we all had to leave.
This was the spirit of a child.
Yeah, well,
who knows? But
who knows?
But the responses we were getting was from the spirit of a child, and what ties in with that is we actually managed to capture her voice.
Yeah,
this is what I'm saying about correlation. A, the location you're in. B, does it tie in with the actual haunting and the experiences of the witnesses? Yes, we tick that box. Did we manage to film it? Yes, we tick that box. Did we get direct communication? Yes, we tick that box. And then we managed to capture an audio of
a disembodied voice of a young child.
So we were speaking to a young child, then we actually heard the voice of a young child.
I never heard it.
No.
On a radio?
On my phone, we recorded it. Only I heard it and another person next to me. I was like, did anyone else hear that? I heard...
There's about 8 of us there at present, but only 2 of them heard the voice.
You kept the voice recorder on and just put it
on? It was actually filmed, caught on film. So we were filming the subject. So the EMF meters were going, so we could see the actual evidence. I was filming that. But then I heard a voice and I said, does anyone else hear that? And the guys next to me said, yeah, I heard sound like a voice. And when he played it back, it's as clear as day.
What was the child's voice like? Just normal child?
Yeah.
It wasn't.
I mean, you're in a room full of adults and you hear a young girl's voice.
What did she say?
Oh, do we say no? Because see, that's the thing.
Well, just say it was a response to the question.
Look, we could feel video after video after video after video on YouTube and all these different
Of any knock or
platforms
bump or anything like that.
of, all investigations. But, there's no point in that for us. We want to show people, something that they can go, wow, okay, that's believable.
And you can see the reaction
and it's-
of us
and-
as well on the
yeah,
camera.
and
You
it's
can see
like
the
it's
reaction.
genuine, it's
yeah.
real, and that is a genuine piece of footage.
Yeah.
Because
That's what it's all about.
ultimately that's what it's about. I mean, yeah.
Why did she want you guys out of there?
It was used as an air raid shelter during the war, and it dates back to obviously who knows when. But it may not have been her. It may have been another spirit. But no one was ever harmed, or no witnesses were ever like feeling like it was a dark spirit. It was just felt like if that was their way of showing us a sign, then it's their way.
Over the 30 years of your work, what have you realized that most of them want? What are their desires?
I suppose really it's just to the same as our desires, to make contact.
Like social.
Yeah,
Social.
put yourself in that position. Now you're on the other side. Yeah, you're going to be trying. Obviously, you'll try it if you want to make contact. Yeah, if you see like me and Dean sitting there going, are you here, spirit? Blah, 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 and you're like, I know these guys. Oh, let me try and get through.
Would you say that the biggest problem is loneliness?
I mean, I suppose it depends on maybe how they passed over. I guess it's just if someone passed over peacefully on their deathbed, no other business, they've done
With
what they
love.
need to do, they've gone, they've passed over. I think if people maybe feel they've got unfinished business, or they left the world very young,
And they didn't want to leave the world.
I think that's more driving your question. And I think that in some cases it's actually taken us 2 or 3, or we've gone there 2 times, nothing's happened. But yet we treat it as, okay, we're going to go back this time, and maybe they'll like our energy. Maybe they'll be warm to us. They'll see we're not a threat. So it may have taken 3 or 4 investigations to start getting
Establishment. Yeah.
In India, and not just in India, honestly, this is all over the world. It's believed that children are often able to see things that adults can't, but the course of human life and emotional trauma takes away that ability.
Well, I'll give you one fascinating fact. Children all around the world reported, that you see here, this is called the feltrum in between this little bit here,
Right.
called the feltrum.
Between the nose and the lips.
Yes, but many children all around the world reported from different cultures, different countries, before they came back, before they were reincarnated, they chose their mummies and daddies, and the angel erased their memories by stroking them there. Yep, just stroking the feltrum. But that was weird because it was in different cultures around the world that done this. They found.
I think
that they were all-
most of the global population it follows some form of religion, and I think you're primed for a very early age to follow religion and to follow spirit. I think it's very heavily ingrained in society. But I think obviously as well as an investigator, you're primed. If you're going to a place and you believe it to be haunted, you're also primed in the same sense. So like you're already halfway there to say that it's haunted. It's haunted. I think that priming does go on from a very early age, and I guess it's wherever culturally is susceptible to you, you will probably follow that path more or less.
Is there any other topic you'd like to shed light on?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
How did you find us?
I had this dream actually about we're always looking out for guests related to the paranormal in the UK because I've come to realize that there is a bit of a subculture here.
Oh yeah.
And case in point being the Treadwell's bookshop. I don't know if you guys.
Yes, I know Treadwell's.
And there's another one whose name I can't remember. It starts with Watkins. The
Watkins.
Watkins
Oh, yes,
bookshop.
I know, yeah.
They're like sister shops. Little far apart from each other. So
Okay.
that's not where we found you guys.
No.
That's a part of the subculture. We just found you guys by Googling London's paranormal situation.
Okay, yeah, because
so-
I was.
So the SEO did a great job.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's up to you.
That's up to me. That's good.
Oh
okay.
God! here we
No,
go.
I'm just saying that the website,
I know.
the
Yeah.
SEO, Google,
Yeah.
it's great. It works.
Yeah, Dean. It's
good to know.
As he
You
basically.
were right at the top, and it seemed the most real.
Yeah, identity, brand identity, even though we're paranormal or ghost hunters, I think for us or for me personally, it was how we are presented and how we show ourselves. Because I think that, we don't want to be showing floating ghosts on our website.
No.
We want to become across as crisp, professional and real. And I think that's what's always had a feedback
that's our
from
mission,
us.
You do.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to hear that.
Thank you. Yeah, because we actually thought it was from a friend of ours in Mumbai called Sumya Iyer, who will probably get to see this. Hi,
Hey,
Sumya.
Name
yes. I've got to send her love because I love Sumya. And but yeah, obviously she will get to see this because I'm going to make sure she gets a copy.
Yeah.
What I'd like to say as well is just basically, or do you want to talk first and I can just touch on that? Go on,
What do you guys think of Treadwell's bookshop? It's a
Yeah,
legendary.
I love Treadwell's. In fact, I've got a book with me with a Treadwell's bookmark in it. Actually, I love Treadwell's. It's a fantastic bookshop.
Sorry, की दूसरी वाली कौन सी थी? Watkins.
Yeah,
Okay.
Watkins.
So we went.
Yeah.
Okay, we went to both. Both are fantastic.
Watkins, Charing Cross, down in.
It's in
yeah.
Covent Garden. I don't.
Yeah, it's down in Covent Garden. Yeah.
But I mean, that's a couple of shops that I'd point every tourist towards. If you're ever in London and
Yeah,
you're inclined
yeah.
towards the paranormal, visit these two shops.
Can't go wrong.
Those two shops had energy, and there's a lot of urban legends associated with those two shops.
Yeah, there is.
They do things in the bookshop as well. I think they do
Tarot
tarot reading and stuff like
and
that. So
stuff
it's
like
also
that as
energies
well.
things are going on in that building. It's not just
Yeah.
books. There are stuff that's happening on a spiritual
you can
level.
buy tarot cards and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I mean, it suits everyone's niche needs that they need.
And more
out of
people now,
paranormal.
more young people are getting involved in spirituality
All over the
and
world.
tarot.
Yeah, they are.
There's a
Yeah.
huge upspike.
Yeah. Do you sense that in
Yeah.
the UK as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What people mostly ask us is basically what sort of phenomena is there that I should be looking for. Is basically, orbs are believed to be the most the beginning sign of a manifestation. So it shows itself in light forms. That's what an orb is. 95% of the times it's dust or insect, but there's that 5% that could be genuine.
Like a ball of light.
A ball of light caught on film or cameras. It depends on the camera you're using, if you're using a flash, etc. But again, we're just using subjects that are known to be attributed to the paranormal, which is orbs, stuff like poltergeist activity. You're looking for, light anomalies, smell, touch. We actually have to use the AVP method, which is audio, visual, physical.
Physical.
That's our ethos, basically. You need to have your audio, so make sure you're recording anything, your visual, making sure you've got the recording equipment, and your physical, because as H says, this is the original tool of ghost hunting, is your physical being, using your
your
senses.
body is the best paranormal tool you'll ever own and possess because it really is the one with all the senses.
Yeah.
Sight, sound,
camera can't
vision,
smell.
everything. Smell.
Yeah.
It's got everything, so you can, use your body as the
Conduit.
yeah, basically.
But I guess
to
I think as well,
contact.
that there's cold spots, and so there's just different things that are attributed to the paranormal and what we generally deal with.
Gotcha. I have one last question for you
Go
guys
ahead.
today.
Go ahead.
Again, 30 years of work. So there's an understanding of the paranormal world that you guys have more than the average paranormal enthusiast.
Yeah.
Are there horror movies that you'd like to recommend which take the understanding of the paranormal in the right direction?
The Entity. That was one film that I would recommend because it was very well played out in the sense that I'm sure there are elements where it has to be hyped up a bit, but the actual case study, the story behind it was very genuine, very real, and very traumatic for the woman that actually went through that case. So that would probably be my sort of go-to kind of horror paranormal film. Avoid things like, sadly, things like Poltergeist and those kind of movies. Sadly. I don't want to say it on film, but
but I think
there are films that I would say that have recently been made that have actually destroyed the genuine. If they were made in a different light with a more believable thing, rather than trying to do the scare factor thing, my type of paranormal film or horror paranormal is something that is true and genuine, and try and avoid the, big hyped up Hollywood sort of,
Jump scare films.
Yeah, because it just don't happen. It does not happen. If you're going to look for something that's based on a true story, but that's directed in such a fashion that it tells the truth and doesn't, try to, just draw you in for
The money.
Yeah, for the money.
I guess as well that, The Conjuring 2, that showcases the Enfield Poltergeist. So it gives you an insight as to, the work Morris did, but actually shows it from the viewpoint of Ed and Lorraine Warren, who were only there for like a day or two, where Maurice Grosse was there for 2 years. So I guess they show it from that demographic, but it gives you a good insight as to the sort of stuff that was going on in the building and the house. So if there was one, I would say it's obviously one we've obviously dealt with and had a relationship with, was obviously Maurice Grosse would be the Conjuring 2. And the Ed and Lorraine Warren, they're actually genuine cases. They're actually built on cases that actually happened and were documented, rather than just being a director's fragment of the director's, imagination.
Elaborated on as well, obviously.
Yeah. Of course, it's elaborated.
It's Hollywood, but
it's based in London, and it shows you, an insight into that case.
Gotcha. You want to add anything?
Yeah, just don't be fooled by ghosts and flashing lights.
And I think to make it, to clarify for your viewers, I guess that after 30 years of nearly research and Spectrum Paranormal Investigations being formed, I think we've now, even for me, I think I can determine that it's not if there are ghosts, it's what
are they?
What are they? Is it the deceased walking around aimlessly on an earth plane and they don't know where they are? Is it more of an energy substance where they've, your life force is extinct, but your energy's gone into space and people can pick up on that? We really don't know, but I guess we've experienced enough evidence to say there's definitely something going on, and we ain't going to stop until we found out what the answer is.
If we get there, you got a life force, you got a life force, I've got a life force.
We may meet on the other side. But you never know. I will.
Podcast for the ghost world.
Exactly.
Ghost cast.
Dean, Hazel, thank you so much.
No, thank you
so much.
So much. Thank you for having us.
I hope you guys had fun.
Great.
Oh, we really did.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for, honestly, it's been a great experience being able to,
talk your truth.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Giving us the platform to do that.
Honestly, it's like, the honor of my life that I get to meet people like yourselves who've dedicated your existence to a single subject over the course of 25, 30 years. That's crazy to me. So this whole episode is just a way to pay respect to the depth of the experiences.
Thank you.
So
thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for being on the show.
Thank you, Ranveer.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.